In Pokemon, rock types are the bulky defensive ones, but are filled with common weaknesses, some even having a 4 times weakness. But that's not gonna stop us, as today we're gonna attempt a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon HeartGold using only rock types with the rules shown on screen. This is the list of the available counters that we have, so you know it's not really much. And to personally celebrate 30 years of Pokemon, I'm gonna do a Nuzlocke of every region from Kanto all the way to Paldea, so look forward to that. Now, let's see if the most Stonewall typing Pokemon can take the Johto region by a landslide. Our journey starts out as many do, immediately leaving home, heading to the lab only to get decked in the face. But to make up for it, the professor decides to give us one of the starters. Sadly, none of these become rock-type Pokemon, but to make life even harder for ourselves, I pick Cyndaquil, so our rival eventually steals the Totodile. After doing a few errands, which included chasing an old man all around and picking up an egg, we get the mandatory tutorial from Lyra, so now the run has officially begun. And luckily, our first encounter is nearby, a Geodude that I catch and named Geo. Or in this case, she's a Geodudette. Am I right, guys? Right? And since Geodude is the only available Pokemon here, there's nothing left to do, so I make my way to Violet City, the location of the first gym. But there are some things that I have to do first, including beating the Sprout Tower and getting another encounter. This encounter is in the form of a trade, where this NPC wants a Bellsprout, which is just outside the city by the way, for an Onix. But hey, if that's what you want, that's what you want. So after a brief detour and a trade, we get our second encounter, Rocky the Onix. Now the Sprout Tower was honestly a bit challenging due to all the monks having Bellsprout with ×4 effective Vine Whips, but we push through and eventually make it through all of them, including the Elder. So with that out of the way, I can challenge the first gym leader, Faulkner, who uses flying types. And looking at our team right now, I feel sorry for bro. He starts the battle with Pidgey as Geo comes out and takes a tackle that does jack all, but she misses a rock throw. After another tackle, rock throw misses as Pidgey uses sand attack to lower Geo's accuracy. But now is the time it decides to be accurate and takes out Pidgey in one rock throw. His ace, an underleveled Pidgeotto, is out next and hits Geo with a gust that does little damage, but again, rock throw misses. Pidgeotto gets another gust, but this time rock throw hits and leaves Pidgeotto on just a sliver of HP, but this time it uses Roost to recover some health. But even that doesn't matter, as another rock throw is enough to KO Pidgeotto, winning us this battle. Trust me Faulkner, I get it. Having an horrendous matchup early on is not fun. But nevertheless, it's time to move on. After making it through the Union Cave, we make it to Azalea Town, where I have to help out Old Man Kurt clear out Team Rocket out of the Slowpoke well. And after all that, the next challenge is the Azalea Gym, where the leader Bugsy uses Bug-type Pokemon. The battle starts and Bugsy comes out strong with his ace, Scyther, and even though it sets up a focus energy, it goes down instantly to a quad super effective rock throw. His other Pokemon don't fare as well, as Metapod is out next, and after a tackle, it too goes down to a rock throw. Kakuna is his last Pokemon, but I don't want Geo to get too close to the next level cap, so I swap to Rocky. It takes a Poison Sting and immediately gets poisoned, but because of Onix's garbage level attack, Kakuna barely survives a rock throw. Bugsy uses a super potion to restore Kakuna's HP, so this time Rocky uses a tackle to bring it into KO range. And after another poison sting and tick damage from the poison, Rocky takes down Kakuna, winning us the battle and earning us our second gym badge. Even though these first two gyms were a real cakewalk, all of that comes to a screeching halt because our next battle with Silver is just as we're about to leave Azalea. He starts out with Zubat as Geo takes the stage, but she gets locked down with a mean look as she uses Rock Polish to boost her speed. Afterwards, she's fast enough to KO Ghastly in a single hit with Rock Throw. His Croconaw is out next, and due to the rock polish from earlier, Geo was able to outspeed, and not only that, get a 5% roll on 150 base power stab magnitude 10, which was enough to one-shot the Croconaw. Zubat is his last Pokemon, and since Geo is already at the next level cap, I switch to Rocky, who gets hit with a Supersonic. Rocky goes for the Rock Tomb and misses as Zubat counters with a bite. But on the next turn, Rocky pushes through the confusion and lands a Rock Tomb, taking out the Zubat and winning us the battle. Although I did set up Geo to outspeed the Croconaw earlier, whether it knocked it out in one hit was entirely up to luck, but thankfully we made it out clean, so we move on. After catching some ducks in the Ilex Forest, we get a charcoal for our efforts, which is gonna help us later on. We finally make it to Goldenrod City, the location of the third and most notorious gym so far. But first, we do a quick quiz at the radio tower so that Whitney can get back to actually doing her job. But now that she's back in the gym, we're able to challenge her. But since I only have 2 Pokemon so far, and so close to the level cap, I decided to just use Rocky for all the gym trainers, taking all the XP and essentially benching him, so it's all on Geo to carry us for this battle. But I have faith since Geo is a girl, so at least Attract won't work on her, and she resists normal type moves. The battle starts and Geo takes the stage, but Clefairy outspeeds and uses Metronome to set up a hail, after which Geo boosts her speed with a rock polish. Afterwards, she's fast enough to outspeed and KO Fairy with a magnitude 8. Her famous Milk Tank is out next, and it gets to drop on Geo with a stomp that flinches her. But on the next turn, Geo takes another stomp and hits back with a magnitude 8 that leaves Miltank on just above half HP. The hail from earlier is chipping down HP on both sides, plus I don't have much longer left as Miltank uses another stomp. But thankfully, we don't get flinched as a magnitude 9 is enough to finish the job, winning us the battle and earning our 3rd gym badge. So now that we have our 3rd badge, our next encounter becomes possible because we can get the watering can from the flower shop. And just outside of Goldenrod, we find the one Pokemon that we all thought was a grass type when we were kids. But it's actually a rock type, so it's perfectly viable. So we catch the Sudowoodo and nickname him Tree, which seems fitting. After that, we make it to Ecruteak City, where first I have to clear out this one Team Rocket creep out of the dance theater, and in exchange, we get the Surf HM for our efforts. But before I even challenge the Ecruteak gym, I have to do a bit of a roundabout quest first to get to our next encounter, which is all the way back in Cherry Grove City. So firstly, I head straight past Ecruteak, meeting Balboa along the way, all the way down to Olivine, and this man Silver came out of nowhere like a FNAF jump scare, but thank God he wasn't there to battle. We make it to this random house where we got what we came for, a good rod, so we can fish for our next encounter. But on the way back from Olivine, the egg we got from the guy in Violet City hatches into a Slugma, who evolves into a rock type, but for now it's gonna be on the bench. After backtracking all the way to Cherry Grove, I'm able to fish in the day and reel in our next encounter, a Corsola that I catch and name Coral, which seems fitting. Now that I'm back in Ecruteak, I make it to the Burn Tower, where Silver is there to challenge us again. But this time, I have Coral, who actually isn't weak to water types like everyone else is. And thanks to Coral being on the team, this fight wasn't that much of a challenge as we were able to beat him quite easily. It's finally time to challenge the Ecruteak gym, where the leader uses ghost types. While battling through the gym trainers, Geo hits the level cap of 25 and evolves into a Graveler. Now with that out of the way, it's time for the battle to begin. His first Pokemon is Ghastly, as Coral takes the stage and Ghastly locks it in with a mean look to prevent escape. But afterwards, Coral knocks it out with a Surf. His next Pokemon is his ace, Gengar, and it hits Coral with a Shadow Ball and drops Coral's special defense, but afterwards a Surf brings it to a quarter. Gengar uses a Citrus Berry, which brings its health above half. Coral can't take another Shadow Ball, so I swap to Tree, who takes a Shadow Ball from Gengar, who then misses a Hypnosis, so Tree is able to knock it out with a Feint Attack. Haunter is his next Pokemon, but it outspeeds and hits a Hypnosis. Tree stays asleep and gets hit with a Dream Eater, which brings its health to about a quarter. Tree can't take another hit, so I switch to Geo, but it gets hit with a Hypnosis and then gets drained by a Dream Eater. Another Dream Eater brings Geo all the way to the red, so I have to switch to Rocky as Dream Eater fails because it's awake. Haunter misses its Hypnosis, but Rocky misses a Rock Throw as well. But on the next turn, Haunter cuts down its own HP with Curse to do chip damage on Rocky. But because of that, another Rock Throw is enough to take down Haunter, but Curse still does chip damage. Morty sends out his last Pokemon, Haunter, that locks in Rocky with a mean look, but Rocky is able to bring Haunter below half with a Rock Tomb that cuts its speed as well. Curse brings Rocky below half as a Sucker Punch crits plus the chip damage from Curse that leaves Rocky on just 3 HP. But on the next turn, Rocky is able to outspeed Haunter from the Rock Tomb from earlier and knock it out with another Rock Tomb, winning us the battle and earning us our 4th gym badge. Since we can surf outside of battle now, we make our way to Cianwood City for 2 things, the 5th gym badge and the secret medicine for the Ampharos in Olivine City. We finally make it to Cianwood, where in this house on the left, we can find a guy who Silver stole a Pokemon from, and I swear, this man just cannot catch his own Pokemon for shit. Anyway, the guy gives us his Shuckle, nicknamed Shucky, for safekeeping. And with a team of 5 and Slugma, we're able to challenge Shuck, leader of the Cianwood gym who uses fighting types, which is a big problem for our team. Even though he only has 2 Pokemon, his Poliwrath can be a big problem as it's both a water and fighting type. But that's what Shucky is here for. The battle starts and Chuck sends out Primeape and we lead with Geo. Primeape lowers Geo's defense with a layer as Geo uses a magnitude 8 that brings Primeape into the red. However, Chuck uses a Hyper Potion to heal up Primeape, but this time we get a low roll with magnitude 4 that doesn't do much damage. Primeape tries to go for a Focus Punch, but magnitude 5 does some damage and the Focus Punch fails. After taking some damage from a Rock Slide, a magnitude 7 from Geo is enough to take down Primeape. His ace, Poliwrath, is out next, and since Geo absolutely hates water, I switch to Shucky for his debut battle as a Hypnosis from Poliwrath misses. Shucky uses Bide as it takes a Surf, and after a missed Hypnosis, he deals double damage that does about a 3rd HP. This, however, was enough to disrupt Poliwrath's Focus Punch, so I go for Bite again, but this time, Poliwrath only uses Body Slam and a missed Hypnosis, so you know that double damage dealt wasn't nearly enough. Shucky doesn't have much HP to keep this going for too long. However, with the Berry Juice it was holding for recovery, he was able to take a Surf and a Focus Punch and deal massive damage in return, knocking out Poliwrath, winning us the battle and earning us our 5th gym badge. Honestly, it was that Berry Juice that Shucky was holding that came through for us in the end, but we got through without losing anyone. Even though we have the Fly HM, no one on the squad has wings, so we have to head back to Olivine the old-fashioned way. After we head back to Olivine, Jasmine won't battle us until Ampharos is better, so we immediately head to the lighthouse to deliver the medicine. Now that it's better, Jasmine agrees to battle us. And since the next level cap is exactly the same as this one, we have to stay under-leveled for this battle. The battle starts and she sends out Magnemite, but a quad-effective Earthquake is enough to disrupt the Magnet. Her ace, Steelix, is out next, and although Earthquake brings it below half, it gets some recovery with its Citrus. Steelix misses a Screech as Geo goes for another Earthquake that almost takes it out as Steelix sets up a Sandstorm, but this only helps us. But this time, Jasmine uses a Hyper Potion that fully heals up Steelix. Afterwards, 2 sets of Earthquake are enough to take down the Steelix. Her last Pokemon is another Magnemite, but it outspeeds and hits Geo with a Supersonic, which causes Geo to hurt herself in confusion. Magnemite gets off a free Sonic Boom, but Geo snaps out of it as another Earthquake is enough to take down Magnemite, winning us the battle and earning us our 6th gym badge. We get the Iron Tail TM for our efforts, and now it's time to move on. After talking to Balboa and setting up the Safari Zone for a bit, we finally make our way to Mahogany Town, where the gym is locked, so our only option is to head north towards the Lake of Rage to deal with the red Gyarados rampaging in the lake. Now with that taken care of, Lance asks us to help with clearing out Team Rocket from Mahogany Town and, well... No! After tearing through the hidden underground base that turned out to be Team Rocket, we have to shut down the generator by knocking out all those electrodes. After we're done with that, we can finally get to challenge the Mahogany Gym, where the leader Price uses ice types. And since Johto's level scaling is so weird, Price's level cap is actually below Jasmine's, but you can't challenge Price before her. So for that, our level cap will remain the same as Jasmine's for this battle. Price starts the battle with Seal and I send out Shocky as he sets up Bide and Seal sets up the Hail and then uses Rest, so Bide ends up doing nothing. A Snore from Seal barely does anything, and with the continuous Hail damage, I try for Bide one more time. He only takes damage from a Snore that doesn't do much, after which Seal tries to use Snore again, but it woke up. Then afterwards, Abide doesn't do anything at all. Seal sets up the Hail again, then goes to sleep with Rest. Afterwards, Shocky uses Wrap to do chip damage. And since this battle isn't going anywhere, I switch to Tree, who takes almost nothing from a Snore, plus some Hail damage, before it uses a Rock Slide that crits, which is enough to take down Seal. His next Pokemon is Piloswine, who outspeeds with a Blizzard that brings Tree below half, and freezes it solid. However, Tree thaws out immediately and hits Piloswine with a Rock Slide that leaves it just above half. I swap to Coral, who comes into a super effective Mud Bomb that leaves it just above half. Piloswine then sets up the Hail, but that doesn't matter as a Surf from Coral is enough to knock it out. His last Pokemon is Dewgong, as it hits us with an Aurora Beam, but it doesn't do much as Coral fully heals with a Recover. Dewgong tries with another Aurora Beam that does little damage, as Coral uses Ancient Power that brings Dewgong below half. In addition to the gradual chip damage from Hail, Dewgong uses Rest to restore its HP, but we get a high roll on Ancient Power this time that leaves Dewgong on just a quarter HP. Dewgong tries to use Sleep Talk, but it pulls a dud with Rest as it's already asleep, so another Ancient Power is enough to knock out Dewgong, winning us the battle and earning us our 7th gym badge. Honestly, Coral has been really pulling her weight since she got drafted onto the team, and I can't wait to see how she continues from here. We get the Hail TM for our victory, as it's time to move on. Before we clear out Team Rocket from Goldenrod City and the Radio Tower, I can finally train up Snail the Slugma to level 38, where it evolves into a Macargo, finally becoming viable for our run. We get a tough Team Rocket fit and head over to infiltrate the Radio Tower when Silva comes out of nowhere and blows our entire cover, like seriously.
Shut the fuck up!
First off, we beat Executive Petrol and get the basement key in order to rescue the director. And while battling through the Radio Tower to get to the basement, we finally get to evolve Geo into a monstrous golem. After rescuing the director, we have to go all the way to the top of the tower to take down Archer. He starts the battle with Houndour, and after a feint attack, Coral washes the little dog away with a Surf. His big brother, Houndoom, is out next, but it's the second verse, same as the first, as after a feint attack from Houndoom, Coral takes it down with a Surf. His last Pokemon is Coughing, and after a Sludge that doesn't do much, Surf knocks down Coughing, defeating Archer and winning the battle. As gratitude for saving them, the director gives us the Rainbow Wing for our efforts. And after a lot of slipping and sliding, we finally make it to Blackthorn City, where we can challenge Claire, leader of the Blackthorn Gym, who uses Dragon-type Pokemon. After some training and fighting the gym trainers, we make it to the back, where we can finally challenge her. After she brags about being the best, we have to run the ones, so let's go. She starts the battle with Gyarados, and I lead with Coral because she isn't a physical attacker, so Intimidate doesn't matter. Gyarados hits Coral first with a Dragon Rage, but Coral claps back with an Ancient Power that brings it below half. Gyarados uses another Dragon Rage, but Coral heals up with a Recover, as the same thing happens again until Coral heals up just enough with a Recover where it can survive 2 hits in a row. After another Dragon Rage, Coral takes down Gyarados with an Ancient Power. Her next Pokemon is Dragonair, and since it's probably gonna outspeed us, Coral takes a Dragon Pulse before she restores her HP with a Recover. Dragonair drops Coral's already low speed with a Thunder Wave, as she uses Recover to bring her HP to full. After a Dragon Pulse that doesn't do much, Coral one-shots the Dragonair with a single Ice Beam. Her second Dragonair is out next, and after surviving a Dragon Pulse with less than half HP, Coral does her thing as Dragonair goes down to another Ice Beam. Her last Pokemon is Kingdra, and I took a massive gamble keeping Coral in, as she's the only one not weak to Hydro Pump, but she clutches up on just 2 HP and heals up to below half with a Recover. The next turn was a complete waste, as Kingdra missed Hydro Pump and Coral ended up being fully paralyzed. Hydro Pump hits on the next turn though, leaving Coral on just 2 HP again as Recover brings it right back to where it was before. However, I'm in trouble because a high roll or a crit from Kingdra is gonna knock out Coral, and what's worse, Coral ends up fully paralyzed again. Coral absolutely cannot stay in on this turn, so I have to switch to someone who can at least tank a Hydro Pump, none other than the GOAT Shucky, as it does just that with less than half HP left. I swapped to Tree though, as Kingdra uses Smoke Screen because it's out of Hydro Pump PP. Ha! And for the next few turns, Kingdra kept spamming Smoke Screen, absolutely blinding Tree, who kept trying to use Wood Hammer until it finally connected and left Kingdra above half HP. After dropping Tree's accuracy as low as possible, Kingdra hits him with a Hyper Beam that doesn't do much, after which Tree misses a Rock Slide. Seeing as it just used a Hyper Beam, I get a free switch into Geo as Kingdra tries blinding her with a Smoke Screen. But it meant absolutely nothing, as a Stab Earthquake from Geo is enough to knock out Kingdra, winning us the battle, defeating Clear, and earning us the gym badge. Is what I would have said if she wasn't such a whiny sore loser bitch. Anyway, I have to go to the Dragon's Den to pass this test to get this damn badge, and even after passing the test, Clear almost didn't give us the badge until the Elder threatened to tell her on Lance, which I found pretty funny. But with that, we now have all 8 badges. To prepare for the summoning ritual for Ho-Ho, the Kimono Girls challenge us to a battle, one after the other, with no break in between. But we managed to beat them all, and they proceed with the ritual to summon Ho-Ho. And personally, since I've only played Soul Silver, I've never seen this cutscene before, so it's pretty cool seeing it in person. But after the ritual is concluded, it's finally time to challenge the Indigo Plateau, the Pokemon League. After making it to the end of Victory Road, Silver catches up to us and challenges us one last time. He's made it as far as I did and is going to put everything on the line for this one, and so are we. Let's go. He starts with Sneasel, and after a feint attack, Sneasel goes down to a low kick from Tree. His Feraligatr is out next, and Tree does well to tank a Waterfall, after which it uses Wood Hammer that leaves Feraligatr right on a Silver. Tree can't take another hit though, so I swap to Coral, who tanks 2 Waterfall with just 1 HP before it finishes the job with a Surf. His next Pokemon is Magneton, so I switch to Geo, who is immune to Spark, but Magneton hits a Supersonic as well, and Geo ends up hurting herself in Confusion. Magneton connects with a Magnet Bomb, and Geo hurts herself in Confusion again, but after another Magnet Bomb hits, Geo finally locks in and knocks out Magneton with a quad effective Earthquake. Haunter is up next, and since Geo is a bit low on HP, I swap to Snail as it takes a Shadow Ball from Haunter pretty well. Haunter then outspeeds and cuts its own HP with Curse to do chip damage, but afterwards a Lava Plume is enough to take down Haunter. Kadabra is his next Pokemon, so I swap to Shucky as Disable fails, but after Shucky uses Bide, Kadabra not only uses Reflect, it goes for a Disable as well, so Shocky is locked out of damaging moves. After taking a Psybeam, Shocky poisons Kadabra with Toxic, but it passes the status condition right back to Shocky as well. I have to switch, but everyone on the team isn't looking so good right now. But Snail should be tanky to survive a move, so I do the swap and it does indeed take a Psybeam. I swap back to Shocky to stall for time as the toxic damage builds up, but after a Psybeam and a toxic damage, Shocky can't stay in for another turn. I switch to Tree as Kadabra fails with a disable, but it outspeeds and hits Tree with a Psybeam, but afterwards he takes down Kadabra with a feint attack. His last Pokemon is Golbat, and Tree should be bulky enough to take any of its moves, even on low HP, and Tree does so as it leaves a bite on just 1 HP and retaliates with a Rock Slide that takes down Golbat in one hit, winning us a hard fought battle and defeating Silver once and for all. After a bit more exploring in Victory Road, I find another viable encounter, a Rhyhorn, that I catch and name Rhino. And after a bit of training, it evolves into a Rhydon. With all that training done, it's time for us to challenge the Elite Four. First up is the witty, wily Will with his psychic types. Tree is gonna be the one to take this because of his overall coverage moves. The battle starts with Will sending out Xatu as it immediately switches out with a U-turn and brings in Slowbro, who takes the rock side from Tree with about 2/3 HP left. Slowbro then tries to set up with a curse, boosting its attack and defense, but a single wood hammer from Tree is enough to take it down. Xatu is out next again, but just as before, it goes for a U-turn to bring in Jinx, but sadly for Will, Jinx doesn't like stones very well, as a singular rock slide is enough to take it down. That pesky Xatu is finally back again, and instead of running this time, she stole Tree's move to use against him, but Tree showed her how to do a real rock slide, which takes Xatu down. Executor is his next Pokemon, so I switch to Snail as Executor sets up a Reflect. It then goes for a Hypnosis that misses, as a Lava Plume from Snail is enough to one-shot Executor. His last Pokemon is another Xatu, who gets off a critical hit Psychic that brings Snail all the way down to 31 HP, as an Ancient Power almost takes Xatu down, but it gets some health back with a Citrus Berry. This works out for us as Xatu is out of healing range, but Snail can't take another hit, so I have to switch to Coral, who takes another crit Psychic that leaves it on a third. I have to switch again, so I send out Tree, who tanks both Psychic pretty well before Feint knocks out Xatu, winning us the battle and defeating Will. This battle went as well as you can imagine the first Elite Four battle going, but I can't get too relaxed as we get. The next Elite Four member is the cunning, conniving Koga, who uses poison types. Bro got a promotion from a gym leader, but that doesn't matter as we still have to face him. His first Pokemon is Ariados as Rhino makes her debut battle well, as 2 hits from Rock Blast is enough to take it down. Fortress is out next as it shields itself from Rhino with a Protect. Hammer Arm misses on the next turn as Fortress sets up a layer of Toxic Spikes. Hammer Arm only does about a third of damage as another layer of Toxic Spikes is set up. Fortress shields itself with another Protect, and after a mediocre Swift, Earthquake from Rhino almost took it down. Koga heals it up with a full restore, but Rhino then misses a Rock Blast. After another Swift from Fortress, Rhino manages to bring it below half with 3 hits from Rock Blast. Fortress shields itself from an Earthquake with Protect, and on the next turn, it outspeeds and uses Explosion in an attempt to take down Rhino with it, but that fails. His next Pokemon is Venomoth, and after taking a Psychic with just 50 HP left, Rhino misses a Rock Blast. Based on the damage from before, I decide to take a chance on Rhino, and she survives another Psychic on just 5 HP, after which it took down Venomoth in 2 hits from a Rock Blast. Koga's next Pokemon is Muk, so I definitely have to switch out Rhino now. Geo subs in and gets badly poisoned due to Toxic Spikes as a Gunk Shot from Muk misses. Muk goes for Minimize, which was enough evasion to dodge an Earthquake from Geo on the next turn. This turn ends up being a dud as attacks from both sides miss, but Geo is still taking poison damage. Even after a second Minimize from Muk, Earthquake actually connects this time, which was enough to take it down. Crobat is Koga's last Pokemon, but I don't think Geo can survive an attack plus poison damage, so I switch into Tree, who gets badly poisoned as Crobat sets up a double team. Crobat gets to +2 evasion with another double team, but a Rock Slide from Tree was just short of taking down Crobat, as it gets some recovery with a Citrus Berry. After a Wing Attack, I went for Faint Attack because it never misses, but it wasn't enough to take down Crobat as Koga heals it up with a full restore. I go for Faint Attack again, but this time it's to bring Crobat into KO range for a Rock Slide. After getting to +3 evasion with a double team, I for sure thought Rock Slide would miss, but it actually connects, which is enough to take down Crobat, winning us our second Elite Four battle. True to the nature of poison types, this battle was tricky and had us on a timer, but we made it now to move on. The third Elite Four member is the Brawlic, Buff and Brawling Bruno, who uses fighting types, one of our team's weaknesses, so we have to tread carefully. Bruno starts the battle with Hitmontop as Rhino takes the stage. Hitmontop outspeeds and uses Dig, but this backfires on it as Rhino uses an Earthquake, so Hitmontop takes double damage, knocking it out. Hitmonlee is Bruno's next Pokemon, as it uses Focus Energy to boost its crit ratio, but Rhino steamrolls it with an Earthquake, taking it down. Hitmonchan is out next, and after tanking an Ice Punch pretty well, Rhino goes 3 for 3 as an Earthquake also takes down Hitmonchan. Bruno sends out his ace, Machamp, which is going to be a nightmare if it gets rolling. It hits Rhino with a Cross Chop that brings her to the red, and Earthquake from Rhino does the same to Machamp, but it heals up with its Citrus Berry. If I switch into anything right now, it's not surviving 2 hits from Machamp, so I have to let Rhino stay in and take the Cross Chop that takes her down. Because of Rhino's sacrifice, Geo was able to come in safely and take down Machamp with an Earthquake. His Onix is out next, and with its paltry attack, Earthquake hardly does anything to Geo, as she shows it what a real Earthquake is and takes it down, defeating Bruno and winning us the battle. I'm surprised it was this late in the run before we lost a member, but if I hadn't made the call, there's a good chance Machamp would have steamrolled my team. Now with only 5 teammates, we move on. The last of the Elite Four is the calm and collected Karen. She specializes in Dark-type Pokemon. She starts a battle with Umbreon and Shucky takes the stage. Because Umbreon kept using Double Team, Toxic from Shucky kept missing until after a Confuse Ray, Shucky landed the Toxic. However, Umbreon synchronized past his Toxic status to Shucky as well. Shucky has done his job, so I switch to Coral as Umbreon uses Double Team again, but our strategy for Umbreon is to Toxic Stall, while doing whatever chip damage I can. Between Coral's attacks missing and Umbreon only doing chip damage with Faint Attack, Coral's HP is getting low, so I use Recover to restore HP while Umbreon suffers worsening poison damage. However, the poison damage brought Umbreon right into potion range, so I have to switch to Shucky again to set up poison as Karen uses a full restore. After Faint Attack and Umbreon maxing out its evasion, Shucky finally lands another Toxic. With Shucky's job done, so I switch to Coral again, and in between missing attacks, healing up HP with Recover, and gradual poison damage on Umbreon, it finally goes down, and that's just the first one. Vileplume is out next, so I swap to Snail, who takes heavy damage from a Petal Dance, but still over half HP. So Snail is able to live another Petal Dance, afterwards it takes down Vileplume with 1 Lava Plume. Her Gengar is sent out, and Snail is low on HP, so I swap to Tree as Gengar lands the infamously inaccurate Focus Blast, but Tree survives. So you'd think it would be fine. No way Gengar gets off another Focus Blast, right? Nope, another Focus Blast lands no problem, taking out Tree. Coral is out next, as Gengar tries to go for Spite that fails, as a Surf leaves Gengar with less than half HP. I swap into Geo and Gengar lands another perfectly accurate Focus Blast that leaves Geo on just 11 HP. I swap back to Coral as Gengar's Focus Blast finally misses, but since I was anticipating it to hit, I preemptively went for Recover. But Gengar actually misses Focus Blast again. Gengar then uses Spite that cuts Recover's PP, but another Surf from Coral is enough to take it down. Houndoom is our next Pokemon, and even though it tries to set up with a nasty plot, a Surf from Coral is enough to one-shot it. Murkrow is our final Pokemon, and although it outspeeds with a feint attack, it didn't do much as Coral absolutely shreds it with a Power Gem, winning us the battle and defeating Karen, the final Elite Four member. For our Dark-type specialist, it was our Gengar that gave us the most trouble, even costing us a team member, all because of that damn Focus Blast. But we've reached this far, so we just have to keep going. With just 4 Pokemon left, we still have the champion, Lance, the formidable, fearsome foe with its frightful fire breathers. But it's not gonna be free eats just like that, because every single one of them has the potential to steamroll my entire team, so I have to be the one to get the ball rolling first. You'll see what I mean in a minute. The battle starts with Gyarados and Shoki takes the stage. My strategy is to use Bide, and Gyarados hits Shoki with 2 Waterfall that he manages to tank pretty well, after which Shoki hits back with double the power to take down Gyarados. Aerodactyl is his next Pokemon, as it uses a Rock Slide, but Shoki holds out and poisons Aerodactyl with Toxic. Shoki has done its job and more, so we have to stay in as another Rock Slide from Aerodactyl takes down Shoki, leaving us with 1 less team member. But because of Shoki's sacrifice, I can bring in Geo safely, and this is where our strategy begins. After tanking a crunch, Geo sets up a defense curl, and not only does this raise our defenses, it also doubles the power of a rollout, which is a continuous move as long as it doesn't miss. And misses exactly what it does on the next turn, as a crunch from Aerodactyl leaves us above half. I set up for the rollout sweep again, but due to the gradual poison damage, Lance uses his full restore, which allows Geo to take down Aerodactyl in just 1 hit. His Dragonite is out next, but it misses a Blizzard, so Geo keeps it rolling as it crits and manages to take down Dragonite as well. Lance's second Dragonite is out, and the 75% accurate Dragon Rush missed, as a +3 rollout is enough to take it down. The damage just keeps on stockpiling, but let's hope Geo can keep up the momentum. Lance's strongest Dragonite is out, and it outspeeds and hits Geo with heavy damage with a brutal Outrage. But at +4, even the mighty Dragonite stood no chance. His last Pokemon is Charizard, and with a crippling quad weakness to Rock, your favorite Kanto starter stood absolutely no chance, as after Geo tanks an Air Slash with just 15 HP left, it rips through Charizard with a +5, stab boosted, double powered, quad effective, super effective rollout, defeating Lance and cementing ourselves as champion of the Johto region. It has been a tough run so far, with quite a few close calls, but even here at the league, some losses were unavoidable, but they made our win possible. We may have become champion, but our journey is not quite done yet. Now that we're here in Kanto, we still have their gym leaders to challenge, and for the most part they're not much of a challenge, but we still have to defeat them. But before that, I need to fill out my empty slots with some new prospects. With the fossils I got way back in the ruins of Alph, I can restore them at the Pewter Museum, and first I got an Aerodactyl that I nicknamed Raptor, and an Omanite that I rightly named Lord Helix. After some training, Lord Helix reaches his final form as an Omastar. With a full team of 6, it's time to run the Kanto Gauntlet. First up is Brock, where Lord Helix is able to sweep most of his team, who is quad weak to water, with the move Brine, only needing to switch into Coral to finish up his last Pokemon, ironically an Omastar as well, resulting in our win. Misty is next and automatically a harder challenge for our team, but we can still do this as Aerodactyl, using a combination of Fly and Thunderfang, takes down Golduck. Lord Helix is able to tank a hit from her Lapras, as 2 hits from Ancient Power is enough to take it down. But with her Quagsire that only has 1 weakness, Raptor uses Fly twice as Quagsire is setting up, which does enough damage to take it down. With Starmie as her ace, Coral is going to be the one to handle it with a combination of Power Gem as well as healing with Recover, and all while pushing through Confusion, it's enough to whittle down Starmie winning us the battle. Lieutenant Surge is next, and this one is an easy sweep as Geo, who is immune to electric moves, and even through evasion gimmicks, is able to one-shot every single one of his Pokemon with an Earthquake, resulting in an easy win for us. Erica is up next, and you'd think a team of grass types would be an issue for a mono rock type team, but that's where you're wrong. Snail, who's part fire type, burns through most of Erica's team with a lava plume, but even though it took a heavy hit from Victory Bell, Raptor is enough to clean up her last Pokemon Blossom, winning us that gym battle. Janine of the Fuchsia Gym is next, and I have a plan for an easy sweep. Even though her Crobat is super fast, after a defense curl, roll out is doubled in power and gets stronger on each turn. It's enough to take down her Crobat, her Weezing after a Toxic, a Riotous, Venomoth even though it uses a double team, and her second Ariados, resulting in an easy win for us as her team got utterly steamrolled. Sabrina is next on the chopping block, and even though her psychic types can hit hard, they have paper thin defenses. So a fast physical sweeper like Raptor is just what we need. First, Espion goes down after 2 hits from an Iron Head, but Mr. Mime is able to bring Raptor to a half as a crit Iron Head takes it down as well. And finally, her Alakazam, who wasn't even able to hit us as a single fly from Raptor is enough to take it down, winning us that gym match. Dr. Blaine, is next to battle. Coral one-shots his Macargo with a quad effective Surf, but his Magmar is quicker and sets up the sun, so it needed 2 Surf to get the job done this time. His Rapidash is last, so Geo has to be the one to clean up, and after some frustrating bounces, and paralysis as well, it finally took down Rapidash with an Earthquake, resulting in 7 gym badges for us so far. Blue is the last gym leader, and unlike the others so far, Blue is actually a challenge, so we have to be careful. His first Pokemon is Executor, and Raptor is out, as it dodges a Leaf Storm and takes down Executor in a single fly. His Gyarados is out next, and because of Raptor's attack is dropped from Intimidate, Thunderfang was just short of taking it down. Even though Gyarados sets up with a Dragon Dance, Blue uses a full restore, so Raptor gets a free turn as both Thunderfang took down Gyarados. Rhydon is his third Pokemon, so I switch to Geo, but Rhydon misses a Stone Edge. Earthquake from Geo was just shy of taking down Rhydon, but it claps back with its own Earthquake, but another Earthquake from Geo is enough to take it down. Machamp is out next, and with no guard Dynamic Punch, this isn't something I can win easily. I swap to Rocky, as because of its high defense, it actually survives Dynamic Punch, but now it's confused. But even in the face of death, Rocky is an absolute goat and cuts Machamp defense with Screech, as it goes down to another Dynamic Punch. Because of that, Raptor was able to come in freely. I thought I could avoid Machamp's moves with Fly, but it's no guard for a reason, as Raptor barely survives a Stone Edge, but a Fly was enough to take down Machamp. Arcanine is next, so I switch to Lord Helix, who tanks an extreme speed and a Dragon Pulse, as an Ancient Power was just short of taking it down. However, Blue uses both his full restores on Arcanine after back-to-back Ancient Power, so after tanking a Dragon Pulse, Lord Helix gets the KO with a Brine. Pidgeot is his last Pokemon, so Lord Helix stays in and does some big damage with an Ancient Power, but Pidgeot gives us a free switch in with Whirlwind. Snail is brought out, and after tanking a resisted return, Snail drops Pidgeot with an Ancient Power, finally defeating Blue and completing the Counter Gauntlet. Like I said, Blue was a cut above the rest, and if it wasn't for the sacrifice that Rocky made, his Machamp could have done way more damage. But with all 8 badges, it's time to encounter the ultimate challenge. But before we get there, it's time for our last viable encounter, found here in Mount Silver, a Larvitar that I catch and name Zilla. After some intensive training, Zilla evolves into a Pupitar, then into its final form, Tyranitar. With the final member, We have a full team ready, consisting of Geo with Stone Edge, Defense Curl, Rollout and Earthquake, Raptor with Thunderfang, Rock Slide, Iron Head and Fly, Lord Helix with Rock Climb, Hydro Pump, Ancient Power and Mud Shot, Snail with Recover, Earth Power, Flamethrower and Ancient Power, Coral with Surf, Ice Beam, Power Gem and Recover, and finally Zilla with Earthquake, Crunch, Rock Slide and Thunderfang. There are no words needed, as this is a final battle between the two strongest. Red starts the battle with Pikachu as Geo takes the lead. Pikachu misses an Iron Tail as Geo takes it down with an Earthquake. Lapras is his next Pokemon, as Blizzard is 100% accurate and takes down Geo in one hit, as we needed a safe switch into Lord Helix. Ancient Power then takes Lapras down into the yellow, and even with a double powered Brine, it doesn't do much as another Ancient Power is enough to take down Lapras. Venusaur is his next Pokemon, and instead of staying in with Lord Helix, I tried switching in Coral, who had an Ice Beam in an attempt to live a move, but Giga Drain almost took it down. However, Venusaur was faster and finished off Coral with a Sludge Bomb. With Coral down, Snail gets a free switch in and tanks a Giga Drain pretty well before absolutely roasting Venusaur with a Flamethrower. Blastoise is next, and I need a free switch, so Snail is gonna have to hold this L as it takes a quad effective 150 base power Hydro Cannon, which is more than enough to take it down. Zilla makes his debut and resets the weather to sand, which boosts its special defense. Blastoise having to recharge means that Zilla does some big damage with a Thunderfang, but it wasn't quite enough to take it down. On the next turn, Blastoise lands a Focus Blast, but thanks to the Sandstorm, Tyranitar survives it in the yellow and takes down Blastoise with another Thunderfang. Snorlax is his next Pokemon, and because it's really bulky, it survives a Rock Slide with below half HP and hits back with a Blizzard through the Sandstorm that freezes Zilla. However, Zilla thaws out immediately, and another Rock Slide is enough to take down Snorlax. His last Pokemon is Charizard, and even though it outspeeds, a Flare Blitz does nothing as it's resisted. Afterwards, a quad effective Rock Slide is enough to take down his Charizard, winning us the battle and defeating the strongest, and thus completing a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon HeartGold with only rock types. I want to thank you guys for watching all the way through to the end if you're still here. And while you're still here, leave a like, subscribe and comment on what other runs you want to see. This has been Ace Trainer Daryx, and remember to play your hits like an ace.